Hey guys, today we are going to start the first lesson. It's going to be chapter 3, lesson 1, and today's lesson is adding decimals. The first thing I want you to realize is that the word sum means to add. Okay, that is the answer for addition. So anytime we see the word sum, that tells us we're going to add in order to find our answer. Okay. Let's take a look at number 1. It says find the sum of 23.1 and 5.8. The first thing that you have to do when you're adding decimals is to remember to line up your decimals. When I say line up my decimals, I want to make sure that all of my decimal points are right under each other. Okay, so if I'm going to set up this problem, I'm going to look at my two numbers and I'm going to say, okay, with adding, it doesn't matter what number goes on top, but for me, I like to put the bigger number or the number with the most digits on top. So in this case, my bigger number is 23.1. So I'm going to start off with my 23.1. And then I'm going to line up my decimal by putting my decimal right under the other decimal point. And then I'm going to fill in my numbers. The 5 goes before the decimal point. The 8 goes after. Now that my decimal points are lined up, now I can go ahead and add like a normal problem. The first thing I'm going to add is 8 plus 1, and I get 9. 5 plus 3, I get 8. And then 2 plus 0, I get 2. So after I line up my decimals and I add, the last thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I bring my decimal down. And when I bring my decimal down, that'll give me my final answer. So in this case, my answer should be 28.9 or 28 and 9/10. Now, if I forgot to put my decimal point there, my answer looks like it's 289. I need to ask myself, is that a reasonable number for this problem? Okay, the way that you can ask yourself or to find out if your answer is reasonable is by estimating the numbers at top. So let's just look. 23.1 is really close to or about 23. And 5.8 is really close to or about 6. So if I was to add 23 plus 6, what would I get? I would get 29. So 28.9 is about 29. So my answer here is reasonable, and my answer is 28 and 9/10. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says to find the sum of 29.6 and 14.7. Again, sum means I'm going to add. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my two numbers. Okay, in this case, both numbers have the same amount of digits. So again, a preference for me when adding and subtracting decimals is to put the bigger number on top. So in this case, 29.6 is bigger than 14.7. Again, I want to make sure I line up my decimals. My 14 goes in front of the decimal. My 7 goes after the decimal. Now, once my decimals are lined up, I can go ahead and add. 6 plus 7 is 13. Carry my 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 4 is 14. Carry my 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. Again, don't forget to bring your decimal down. So my answer for this problem is 44.3 or 44 and 3/10. Let's ask ourselves if that is reasonable. Well, 29.6 is about 30, and 14.7 is about 15. If I added 30 and 15, I get 45, and 44.3 is really, really close to 45. So I know that 44.3 is a reasonable answer for this problem. Okay, I want to look at one more example here. And in this case, if you notice, okay, it says find the sum of 1.34 and 2. If you notice, one of these numbers does not have a decimal point in it, okay? So we're going to talk about, well, what happens if there's no decimal point in my number, okay? First thing I want to do is try to line them up. Well, if I don't know where the decimal is, I can't line them up, okay? When you have a number with no decimal, the decimal's always at the end. So I can add a decimal point and a 0, And by adding a 0 there, it does not change the value of the number. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 2.0, it still equals 2. Okay? Now looking at these two numbers, again, with adding, it doesn't matter what number goes on top. So I do just want to show you if we started with the smaller number on top, 1.34, and I lined up my decimals, I want to put my decimal right under each other. Okay, I'm going to add a 2 in front, add a 0 in the back. I do have an empty space here. I can add another 0. Again, it won't change the value of the number. Now I can go ahead and add. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 0 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Remember to bring your decimal point down. My answer here is 3.34. Again, if I wanted to check the reasonableness of the answer, 3.34 is about 1, and 2.0 is about 2. If I added 2 plus 1, I get 3, and 3.34 is very close to 3. Just to review, when you're going ahead and adding decimals, you want to make sure that you line up the decimals. Then you're going to go ahead and add the digits. And then remember to bring your decimal point down. If not, you're going to get a really unreasonable answer or a really big number. Okay? Feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.